This is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the show about everything that gets you from here to there. Your hosts are Robbie and Terry, both 15. Every week they break it down, so you actually get it.
Welcome to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the show about everything that gets you from here to there. I'm Terry.
And I'm Robbie, and today we're cracking open the cockpit door. What are pilots actually doing up there the whole flight?
Because I always assumed it was basically just sitting, looking out a very expensive window.
Right? Like a really well-paid sightseer. But it turns out there's a lot going on.
So first, the basics. A commercial flight has two pilots, the captain and the first officer, also called the co-pilot.
They take turns actually flying, which they call pilot flying and pilot monitoring. Creative naming, guys.
The monitoring pilot is watching instruments, talking to air traffic control, running checklists. It's basically a full-time job just watching the other person's job.
Before the plane even moves, they've already spent about 45 minutes on pre-flight checks. Walk around, systems, weather, fuel math.
Fuel math sounds boring, but it is genuinely life or death. They have to carry enough fuel plus legal reserves plus contingency fuel.
And they file a flight plan with air traffic control that maps out every waypoint they'll cross at cruising altitude.
Once they're airborne, autopilot takes over a lot of the workload, but autopilot doesn't mean the pilots clock out.
Autopilot is more like a very obedient assistant. It does what it's told, but the pilots are constantly telling it what to do.
They're adjusting altitude, speed, heading, talking to different control centers as they cross regions of airspace.
Every time you cross into a new chunk of sky, you check in with a new controller. It's like highway tolls, but with radio.
And the communication is wild. Pilots speak a whole phonetic alphabet: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta.
Which exists so that B and D don't get confused over a crackling radio at 38,000 feet.
Good reason. Speaking of altitude, commercial jets typically cruise somewhere between 35,000 and 42,000 feet.
That's like 7 or 8 miles straight up. The air up there is so thin the engines actually run more efficiently.
But it also means if the cabin lost pressure, passengers would have about 12 to 15 seconds of useful consciousness.
Which is why the oxygen masks drop automatically, and why pilots wear theirs immediately without waiting to feel woozy.
There are checklists for basically every situation: engine fire, hydraulic failure, bird strike, unexpected passenger behavior.
Pilots joke that if something weird happens, there's a checklist, and if there isn't, that's a very bad day.
The checklists exist because human memory under stress is unreliable. Aviation pioneered checklist culture before medicine or anyone else.
Surgeons actually started borrowing the idea from pilots in the early 2000s. That's a fun fact that goes the other direction.
Meanwhile, on a long-haul flight, say London to Sydney, which can be over 20 hours, there are extra pilots called relief crews.
They rotate in shifts so no one is flying exhausted. There's literally a bunk room hidden above or below the cabin.
I had no idea pilot bunk rooms existed, and now I desperately want to see one.
Same. Apparently they're pretty basic, like a dormitory for people who are professionally responsible for 300 lives.
No pressure. During cruise, pilots are also monitoring weather, talking to dispatch on the ground, and watching for turbulence reports from other flights.
Planes share real-time weather data with each other. It's like a group chat, but for avoiding storm cells at altitude.
As they approach descent, the workload ramps back up hard. They're calculating landing weight, speed, runway conditions, brake settings,
And briefing the approach, talking through the whole landing plan out loud together before they start descending.
Then there's the actual landing, where the autopilot can land the plane in zero visibility using a system called auto.
But most pilots hand-fly landings when conditions allow, because keeping the skill sharp matters when auto-land isn't an option.
The whole flight is basically layers of redundancy, two pilots, backup systems, checklists, because aviation is obsessed with not failing,
Commercial aviation has gotten so safe that your odds of dying on any given flight are about 1 in 11 million.
which is genuinely incredible when you remember you're in a metal tube going 500 miles per hour, 6 miles up.
And somewhere up front, two people are calmly reading checklists, talking to controllers, and occasionally eating their separate meals.
Separately, because they're not allowed to eat the same food in case of food poisoning. One pilot must always be functional.
That detail is both reassuring and a little ominous. I choose to land on reassuring.
Same. So next time you're in the window seat wondering what's happening up front, now you know.
It's not napping, it's highly structured, deeply trained, checklist-powered professionalism at 38,000 feet. Pretty cool, actually.
Pretty very cool. Thanks for flying with us today, everyone.
We'll be back with more of everything that moves you. See you next week on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.